Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Rush. This movie is directed by Ron Howard, who previously directed Backdraft and Apollo 13. This movie stars Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. This movie is a biopic focusing on two Formula One race car drivers, James Hunt, played by Chris Hemsworth, and Niki Lauda, played by Daniel Bruhl. And this movie demonstrates their intense rivalry in the 1970s. When I first saw the trailer to this movie, I thought it was going to be about Chris Hemsworth playing a race car driver who was rivals with this guy that resembled Zac Efron and the young Christopher Walken. And I thought the movie was going to be alright, so I saw the movie. And I was wrong on both parts, because one, this movie focuses on both men equally, and two, this movie wasn't alright. It was in fact very good. With Ron Howard as the director, I should have known this movie was going to be good, because there were so many things in this movie that worked. Starting off, Chris Hemsworth as James Hunt. He did a really good job in this role as the ladies' man, the bad boy racer. I stopped seeing him as Thor, and I saw him as this driver. He really made this role his own. Daniel Bruhl as Niki Lauda, I thought did the better job considering what happens to his character, but wow, it's really hard to believe that this was the young German soldier in Inglourious Basterds. As you had the two leading men, you also had two female co-stars paired with them. You had Olivia Wilde, who played James Hunt's wife, but she didn't really bring anything to this movie. I mean, she just looked attractive, but she was really just there to be a reminder that, hey, this movie takes place in the 70s, and that was it. And then you had Alexandra Marie Lara, who played Niki Lauda's wife. She did a really good job, and the thing about her role is that she either spoke German in the movie, or she had no dialogue at all in some scenes, but that's how profound her performance was. She did a great job. Something else that really impressed me about this movie is, to me, whenever I go into a movie based on a real person or a biopic, I look for three things. One, you have to resemble the person that you're portraying, whether it's by looks or sounding like them when they talk or even their mannerisms. Two, I feel like the movie as a whole should establish the time period in which they live. And this movie did a great job because it looked like the 70s, the technology, the clothes they wore, the ads on TVs, everything. It was so believable that you were in the 70s. But thirdly, I feel like a movie like this should make all of the pivotal moments in these people's lives interesting. It even helps when the less important stuff is also interesting. But this movie worked on all three accounts. Something else that also impressed me was that Ron Howard didn't just make this a racing movie about NASCAR or something that's really popular in America. He took the subject of Formula One IndyCar racing. It's huge in foreign countries, overseas, and pretty much everywhere else outside of America, and he made it interesting. He brought this perspective to Americans that may not have known a lot about either this rivalry or Indy cars in general. He made it interesting. He made it exciting. He made it worth watching. Similar to movies like 42 and The Fighter, this movie wasn't a sports movie. It wasn't like Days of Thunder or Talladega Nights where it was filled with racing. Instead, this was a drama with racing in it. And if you're like me, those are my favorite types of sport movies. Movies that focus on the people involved rather than the sport or the activity that they partake in. And this movie was also realistic in the sense that there were some thrilling, exciting races, but there's also some sad and tragic moments in the movie as well. And there are a lot of graphic scenes in this movie, don't get me wrong, but the beauty of this movie was that all the graphic scenes don't even take place on the racetrack. I could really just go on and on about this movie, but I'm going to wrap the review up. So, because this movie had intense music that really had you there in the moment, gripping your seat, heart pounding, but also great acting, great storytelling, and to me, a beautiful, perfect ending to a movie like this, I'm going to give Rush an A. Ron Howard did a great job in this movie, and I definitely think he's going to be up for Best Director nomination at the Oscars this year. If not that, then definitely sound editing. And I was once told a long time ago that the best movies are the ones in which you could put a movie on mute and still understand what's going on. And this movie really is a good example of that. So I definitely recommend it, guys, whether you're a fan of IndyCar racing or biopics in general. So until next time, guys, see ya.